Shabbat Shalom. August 20th, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. This is your Babylon review. Um this coming week, it seems like we'll be being prompted to talk about the beast system, what it is, how it operates, what we need to look out and watch for. Uh um the intricate details um, of what's happening behind the scenes and what do we see coming for this last last leg of this beast system. On this board, I got my little diagram, explaining Revelation 17 and 18, talking about the beast. What is the beast? Okay? The beast is a system of uh, merchants, kings, or your politicians. Today they're called politicians and presidents, and shipmasters. Shipmasters fall into the category of giant business corporations. Okay, both on and off, on and offshore. Okay, land and sea operations. Sit tight. This is going to be a little longer video, because I want to express some concepts and ideas, so you'll have an understanding of what the beast system is, so you'll know uh, how this came about, and having the spiritual eyes to see what is transpiring with the 2030 agenda. Okay, remember, the beast is partly weak and partly strong. Even though it has been healed, it has not the same function and control as um as it once had, because you have um the truth of things being exposed. The light of the Most High is pushing out these things to the forefront of the people. No longer can Satan hide anymore. Okay, I'm paraphrasing. Uh, Satan was wroth with the woman, with the church, and came down to fight against her and fight against the Lamb of the Most High, because the covers have been pulled back, things have been exposed, and I'm expecting in September some more exposure to come. We know that the exposure has happened because Edward Snowden, what was the girl name that leaked the military documents? I forget her name. But Snowden, Julian Assange, um, uh, Chelsea Manning, that's her name. These people have exposed the inner workings of the beast. Now you have Putin, with the war in Ukraine, when they exposed the labs that they had going on over there. The World Health Organization, they they've been exposed, even though they tried to cover it up for those few years. They've been exposed about their clandestine RNA mRNA system. You got Schwab printing books, okay, exposing what they want to have coming forward, okay, in these next 7 years. And the encyclical Laudato Si, the Pope's letter to Obama. Um, what else? The other encyclical, Fratelli Tutti, um, Friendship of the Planet, or what you can call climate change today, in its primary sense. What else? Something else. I'm missing something. There's something I'm missing about the whole. Oh, the Bank of International Settlement, and the IMF being exposed with the book Confessions of an Economic Hitman. That's what I was trying to get at. So the beast, right? The beast which is the system of Babylon working in the lives of kings, which is governors, politicians, lawyers, judges, um, and even different organizations that are under that banner. Then you have shipmasters, which is your brokers, your venture capitalists, your secret societies, um, your military uh, organizations. Those are on the shipmasters. Then you have merchants, which is your giant corporations, your politician organizations, your banks, um, everyday businesses. Even though they don't know that the policies are coming from the Vatican. When Pope Francis came over here and said his speech at Congress, that was the end of so to say, of the American experiment with freedom of consciousness and navigation uh, as a republic. Okay, that was the end when they succeeded it over. Now we've been seeing the struggles play out in that. Even though we're having a change in the guard, we're seeing the struggles play out. But we have this final push, this final last time that we must go through before we see the full usher in of the kingdom of heaven. Okay, now the kingdom of heaven has been building over years, many years. It just didn't. It started the day that the Messiah showed himself in the city of Jerusalem to the disciples, to the women, to everyone who was waiting on seeing him, and seeing him in his spiritual or God body form. Okay, that's when the kingdom of heaven started. Okay, meaning that's when citizenship to the kingdom was being opened up. Okay, all the way up until this time now, as people are still rushing into the kingdom of heaven to be into the kingdom of heaven. Okay, it's not just, it hasn't stopped yet. We're just under a different type of judgment or investigative judgment. Okay. The first investigative judgment was the exercise of faith. That was the time of Constantine, um, all the way up till after the Council of Nicaea. After that, we went through the investigative time or the dark period of the churches, the church ages, getting the church right, or the judgment in the church. Okay, the judgment in the church. And then after that, now we're in the stage of the falling away of that old time frame. Okay, coming into the natural form of Eden and paradise, but also the separation between the holy and the unholy. Those who will be able to enter into the kingdom of heaven, and those who will be outside of the kingdom of heaven. Okay, because there will still be a divide once the Messiah is on the throne. There still will be a divide. That divide will be those who are in the kingdom and who are outside the kingdom. Okay? It still will be a struggle between the old age and the new age, the millennium age. 3 times out of the year, the people who are outside of the kingdom will have an opportunity to come into the kingdom to have an experience of God and the Most High and the kingdom living. They will have 3 times out of the year. And it still will be conversion going on. Some people will, you're gonna be, people gonna be surprised. Some people are not going to be able to accept His Majesty on the throne. They just not going to be able to accept it. They're not going to be able to change their mindset of kingdom principles, meaning living out the Ten Commandments, because during the time of the Messiah, it's going to be hard. It's going to be no nonsense law abiding going on. It's not going to be no left or no right hand. You're not going to be able to no loopholes to be able to wiggle through to be doing some wicked stuff. There's going to be things going on, but you're going to be caught quickly. Okay? You will be caught quickly and you will be dealt with quickly. Those who are outside the kingdom are going to be living under what they're going to feel as bondage. Okay? It will be a form of bondage under the law of the kingdom of heaven. Okay? They will either get right or they're going to be put away. Okay? And I'll paraphrase. The Messiah says, "Bring them hither to me, those who will not have me to rule over them." Okay? Because they're not going to want to get right. They're not going to want to get right. So they have to be put out of the kingdom. They have to be put out of the providence of the kingdom. The providence of the kingdom. When I say the providence of the kingdom, because the kingdom is only going to be, you can't really see it, but the kingdom is only going to be this part of the world. Okay? Just a little part of this world, of this earth, is the kingdom going to be. It's still going to be people outside in these different places all the way around here. And 3 times of the year, they'll be sending ambassadors and delegations flowing into the kingdom, so that they will be implementing the laws throughout the whole land. Those who will accept His Majesty's rule. Some will, some won't. Now, as we progressed on these years, we are in that stage where this divide is happening now. Okay? The 2030 agenda is subscription-based living. It is a form of slavery. It is the most diabolical form of slavery. There's 4 types of slavery. Bond slavery. What's the other one? Sexual slavery, forced slavery, and chattel slavery. Okay? In the kingdom, there will be a form of slavery, okay? But that slavery will be a chattel bonded slavery, okay? A chattel bonded slavery. There will be no forced slavery. So if you hear Israelites talking about they forcing people out, it ain't gonna be no forced slavery. And it won't be no sexual slavery either. So those two, you can go ahead and cross that out, okay? Ain't none of that. That's not going to be happening in the kingdom. Outside the kingdom, there may be those things happening outside the kingdom as we perfect the kingdom principles throughout the rest of the world. So this system of slavery, bondage, forced slavery that they want to perpetuate now, this bondage for slavery that they want to perpetuate now, they want to have it under a servitude where you have to subscribe for everything. The things that you want if you want to live a life of, if you want to have the luxuries of the old age or the old monetary system, you will have to subscribe, right? Voluntarily being forced to subscribe into this new system. That's how it will play out in the beginning. And once they see they have a problem between the two economic societies, right? Then they will force out their merchants of uh, death, right? To seek out those who will not join the their system of slavery. Okay, they will seek them out because as the kingdom progresses, there are going to be different societies in the kingdom. There's going to be different colonies or places of kingdom living here still on earth. So as the Most High is wiping out the wicked, right, removing the wicked, well, that's too far ahead. As the Messiah is drawing us together as a society of kingdom people living in kingdom mentality, right? Because when this system collapses, there's going to be like chaos going on. I mean, it's going to be chaos going on. And they have to figure out a way to usher in their new system. But those who are wise enough to know to not to get back into that system will have a level of freedom if you can handle it. Some people are not going to be able to handle and comprehend that you are free now. That you won't have to be living you don't have to be living for this paycheck to paycheck, this old god of society. You won't have to run around for these fiat notes, okay? Or digital fiat notes. You won't have to live in that society. And the crux is going to come when they offer you the system or they offer you the solution. And that solution will come with strings attached to it. You have to be mindful of what strings that will come attached to this new form of slavery. Okay? It's called subscription-based living and stakeholder capital. Okay? That's what they want to bring in. That's what they want to bring in to this new age. Stakeholder capital and subscription-based living. Okay? Now, I sent some of you a video where he breaks those down or shows you the tenets of what they want from you or what they're looking for. I hope you watch that video. It's a great video. He really shows you the articles and the words of the people of the beast, of the Vatican, who are in control of the merchants, the kings, and the shipmasters. Now, everybody will not be going along with this system. Okay? Everyone will not be going along with this system. So there's going to be a world religion, and there's going to be the Israel, the religion of Israel. When they set up the temple in Israel, and when, if you're here, we're still here, and we see the two witnesses on the Temple Mount, or in Jerusalem rather, cursing and blessing and calling the people to repentance. When we see that going on, some people will have to make a decision whether or not to come into the fold, keeping the Ten Commandments, keeping the Sabbath day, or will they hold to the Vatican, the Vatican's system of living. And like I told you before, it's going to be bread, power, and worship. If you want to hold on to your 401k, you're going to have to take some strings attached to you. If you want to buy that new car, you want to travel, it's going to be some strings attached to it. If you want to eat like you used to eat, you want to eat your, fancy food and go to the fancy restaurants, it's going to be strings attached to it. But there's also going to be a separate society that's going to be operating within within the collapse of Babylon. That's just how it is. As one kingdom comes down, another kingdom is rising up, and we are headlong getting prepared for that time that it will be there. And you may have to flee to country living, flee to the mountains. That's where people are going to be at. They're going to be in the country, in the mountainside, because in the city it's going to be. That's where they're going to lock down people at. That's where they're going to lock the people down at. And even in the city, you're going to have people who are going to have to exercise their faith and not accept the mark um, of the beast. And the mark, number, or name. Okay, those three things: mark, number, or name. Because it's not just the mark in a chip in your hand. It's mark, number, or name. But primarily, it will be the chip because they gonna want to know how to see you, where to see you, digital passport you, scan you in, palm reading, swiping you over palm reading, to have you in their society. Okay, facial recognition technology. Um, what else? And speech recognition, character recognition. I mean, everything about you uploaded into the cloud. Okay, and if you don't fit, if they don't have your digital footprint or ID, you are not a part of the system. Okay, so it's going to be two systems. It's going to be those who are going to be operate on kingdom principles with gold and silver, um, in different types of form of credit and monetary system. And then there's going to be those who are going to want to go with the convenience and the opportunities that they will incentive that they will have for you to operate in their Internet of Things. Okay, and it's a form of slavery. People won't know it because they will pig ping you. They will pig ping you by offering you incentives like they did with the Jibby Jab, with the Jibby Juice. They offered you an incentive. And they said, look, you do this, you keep your job. If you don't do this, you out your job. That was a precursor of what they're going to be offering. Okay, if you want to have a baby, you want to have a baby because people going to still be trying to have people still going to have babies, but they're going to be afraid to have children outside of a hospital. They're not going to comprehend. They're not going to comprehend the old ways of society, of living. That they're just not going to be. They're not going to be ready for the transition, and people will give up their freedom and liberty physically and mentally for convenience. We've seen that already. Half the nation. So imagine after a war, how people are going to be so shattered, so devastated. They're going to be looking for any type of relief, um, any type of relief that they can get to be a part of a stable, a stable environment that they are accustomed to, and you have to be mindful of that. Oh, and they will come out to you either be a part of the society or you're going to be out the society. Okay, you know what I mean? Out the society. Okay, you either part of the society or out the society. So if you get rounded up in one of these camps, that's what they're gonna be offering. They're gonna be offering, look, accept our system and you will live. You understand? But if you accept a system, you're gonna lose both your life and your soul. Okay? So don't do it. Don't get chipped up. Alright? Don't do it at all. Don't get marked up in the system, right? In the beginning, it's gonna be easy. In the beginning, it's gonna seem like normal. It's gonna seem like routine. Okay, you got a little card. You know what I mean? You might do a little biometric or whatever. Facial recognition scan. In the beginning, it's gonna be like that, and then something's going to happen where they're going to have to offer you something more secure, uh, something more secure than what they offered you before. That's just my opinion, the way how I see it. Or they can go straight right in. Look, you either accept this chip or you don't, because you have to remember the Vatican, in the European Union, the IMF, the world is too big to be able to control every person on the planet unless they have some type of technology to track, trace, find, and combine and bind you to a central system where they can control you. If you out in free society, you won't have that problem. You know, you out in the mountainside, in the countryside, you're not a part of the system. They don't know what's going on. It's people right now who are living that way. Right now who are living that way, who don't even have no ties to the system. Okay? And that will be the dividing line and the opportunity for many people to decide whether or not you want to continue to live in a fictitious world, or you want to live free, unencumbered, liberty conscious life. All right, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you for your 26 minutes of your time. I hope that you will delve into this a little bit more, but I hope that you remember that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, and it's time to repent. There's no time